Hello to all my friends out there. Well, I hope everyone is being festive, and I would just want to mention I can definitely recommend vertical lines if you've gained weight. Okay, I gotta start with the food real quick because I made some raviolis and they need to start. They cook quick when you make them homemade. So I stockpiled this spaghetti sauce, and that's all that's in here, and I added a little water. And here are my homemade raviolis, and I'm just gonna drop them in. And they cook in no time. I'm gonna tell you how I made them. You know, yesterday I made the pasta, half a batch. The recipe I have makes a lot. And I froze the rest of the pasta dough, and this just popped into my mind. It's been a while since I've had any Italian food, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. But what's really good about this is it's not going to be expensive at all. You have to have your sauce boiling. Okay, I left one undone so I could show you. Okay, I just rolled the pasta dough in strips, and then, you know, I cut the strip, and this is some mozzarella cheese, some red pepper flakes, and some parsley. And then I just took a fork and mashed the cheese inside. So what is good about this is, so, you know, it's not a big deal. There it is. And then I'm just throwing it in here, and I'm going to cook it for a couple minutes, and then, you know, I'm going to eat it. It'll be ready in a minute. So, and since I already, this is a good thing to make if you have dough. Okay, so first things first is I hope everyone is doing okay. It's nice here in Southern California, not too cold, but not too hot. And I took my red candles from the living room in because I thought they looked a lot more festive. Okay, so we're having raviolis. Let me give you my homemade noodles. So what I did yesterday is I made a half a batch. I cut that in half and I froze half. That's this. Then last night I made the noodles. And then today I rolled it in strips, and here it is. Very easy to make. And so when I rolled it out, I had, you know, half a batch, and then half a batch of a half a batch, and then I cut that in half because this stuff is a little tough to roll out. But if you use a small piece, then, you know, it's not so bad, and it just takes a minute. It's easy to make. So the point is, if you have flour in your stockpile, let's see, if you have eggs and flour, you've pretty much got, you know, you've pretty much got raviolis. And then I have been eating one lemon every day, but today I'm not having that in my tea because I have a special cookie. So I have one of my favorite teas, mint tea. So the point is, it doesn't cost much to be festive. And one of the best things in any tea is sugar. I usually don't eat sugar, but today I am because of my delicious cookies I made. Sugar. This is milk glass and cream. When I bought this, I knew I could never sell it because it's chipped. So that means it's totally and completely valueless. But I really liked it, so, you know. For personal use, it's okay. For selling, no bueno. Okay, so. So now, if times are good, you go to Smart and Final and you buy cheese for $5. And this is a lot of cheese. I'll freeze it. That's why I bought it. But if times are not good, then you're going to make your own cheese. And I have done tons of videos on this, but I'll go through it real quick. Okay, all you need, this is why you want to stockpile shelf-stable milk or whole milk. Or if you get some at the food bank or something, that would be good. 3 cups shelf-stable milk, heat to hot, not boiling. You know where the bubbles are around? Add 2 tablespoons vinegar. So that's why I stockpile gallons of vinegar. For one thing, I try to drink it. You know, I put it on everything I possibly can. There's the story of Alexander the Great, yummy, who protected his army from the disease of the people they were conquering by putting vinegar in the drinking water. And if it worked way back when, why wouldn't it work now? Because it would. A few people have been coming down with the variant. What is it called? The Omicron. So keep wearing your masks. Keep socially distanced. Avoid crowds. What I did is I just went back into self-quarantine until after March. Because last year, I scored very high on pattern recognition. Yes. Last year, about this time, we started hearing these nasty rumors, and then by March, it was critical. So we want to be careful. And we know somebody who caught the variant when they were vaccinated. Okay, add 2 tablespoons vinegar to your 3 cups milk that is not quite boiling, and it will, and you can cover it for about 10 or 15 minutes, and it will curdle. Then I use a screen and I put the curds in the screen and I squeeze I squeeze it into like a little ball of cheese. If it crumbles, that's fine for this. Squeeze out the liquid and then heat the whey. So your whey is your leftover milk that hasn't curdled. I use a big spoon. I just happen to have one of these. And that's how I get the curds out. You know, curds and wheys. Then heat the whey. And then submerge your ball of cheese in the whey. That is really, really hot. And then squeeze the moisture out a couple times until you have a nice solid ball. And then if you have good salt, and I use the salt in my cookies today. I'll take this out. Sprinkle a little salt on your cheese and form it in a ball and submerge it in cold water. And then you can refrigerate it, but basically it's good to go. Here is the cheese recipe. So if you don't have any mozzarella cheese, but you have $1.25, you could get milk and cheese, because you can make your cheese if you have vinegar. So keep that in mind. So if you have a can of spaghetti sauce and you have your flour and your eggs, and if you don't have spaghetti sauce, if you have these, notice you have also tomato juice. What you can do with this is you can just you can take out the juice and run your tomatoes through your juicer or your blender, and then add some basil or some Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, sugar, and some oil. That'll be good enough. Okay, so then you make yourself raviolis. Okay. Now, I heard that people were coughing after the tornadoes, like they had ingested something into their lungs, and who knows what the tornadoes blew in. So Whitfield Harrington was told by God to remind people of the remedy that his grandmother always told them, which was to eat a whole lemon. And he told stories about people who have things down in their lungs, and because of the lemon, they coughed it up. And he said another thing, which is kind of gross. If you feel anything in your nose or the back of your throat, cough it up immediately and spit it out. Probably something's in there. Another thing about the lemon, if your stool gets very soft, or you should get, sorry, at dinner, diarrhea, that means your vitamin C is going all the way through your tract. So what I'm doing is I'm just eating lemons. What I do, if at the end of the day there is any left, I just, this is what I do. I make myself do it. I make myself eat it. The whole thing, not the peels, just the lemon. It could be a grapefruit. I've been eating them so long that it doesn't really bother me. I know the lemons are bad for my teeth, but the COVID's bad for my lungs. Okay, so remember that lemon thing. Or if you don't have lemon, use vinegar. Put some in your drinking water. Okay, one of the ladies said they don't like shorts. They're totally useless. You don't get paid. They're just like a stupid thing to do. But at night, I will watch them like one after another, one after another, one after another. And I got this really good guacamole recipe. Here it is, you guys. How you got it. Guacamole is good. Okay, now I want to mention food in cans retains its safety and nutritional value well beyond 2 years. If you keep it cool, like I have secured mine, it'll be fine. Now I'm buying large packages. All right, during the last pandemic, I said, well, this is unacceptable. So I bought this baking soda to make sure, So you have bread, you have baking soda. You couldn't find used. And baking powder. And so today when I was at Smart and Final, I bought the peanuts. I'm trying to, you can make peanut butter, peanut brittle, but I'm trying to retrain my palate. Snacks are nuts. So if you are like me, you might be saying, yeah, really, well, the last thing I want to do is eat nuts. That means you're not hungry. And the nuts and shells are so much better for you, I think. So I bought nuts to make sure that I didn't run out of nuts. Now, let's see what happened here. Nice, this looks good. So let's get some of these out. Normally, I would like to put Parmesan cheese and red pepper flakes, but since I put red pepper flakes in my cheese, I think that would be good enough. So take a look at this. Okay, they're ready. Today I ate the rest of my pork with gravy and noodles for lunch. That was delicious. Now, let's try one. We better try to find the big ones while we can still get them, This is so much better than Chef Boyardee. All right, let's have a ravioli. A cheese, yummy. They're very hot. Take a look at this, you guys. If you don't have raviolis, use any kind of cheese you have. I would. But I was planning on getting the big $15 bag, you know, of grated, but I thought, no, it's going to take up too much space in my freezer. That is so delicious. Go to Smart and find out. If you don't have that much money, go to McDonald's. Go to Dollar Tree and get the mozzarella cheese for $1.25. It's not bad. The red pepper flake is in the back of my throat. It tastes so good. Or Walmart. I want to mention something about the spaghetti sauce. I got the ones with the chunky vegetables because after the Chinese were tearing up China trying to buy vegetables, I noticed they have one that's mushroom too. Oh wait, I'll try to find a real cheesy one like this one. So if you cut your dough in strips and then you fold your dough over, that's one side you don't have to worry about coming open. And then you can stuff more cheese in it like I did on this one. You're going to make this, you will like it. Your kids would like it too. So what we want to do is learn as many of these cheap recipes as we possibly can now, just in case. You know, the future is kind of uncertain. Or let's say if you were wiped out, you need a few to get back up on your feet. This is dirt cheap. There's a zucchini. But if you don't have any spaghetti sauce, make your own out of tomatoes. And that is so good. Now what? Well, here is what I made. Homemade biscotti. Yes. Notice I didn't put any dirt tonight. Let's see, I'll get the chocolate one, with the most chocolate I possibly can. These are easy to make, and mine, I could dip these, but they're very tasty. They're like a sweet cracker to go with your tea. They're not expensive to make at all. You can make them plain. Let me give you the recipe. If you get a really good book, it's going to have all the recipes you possibly could need in it. Here it is, right here. And here is where they have all the things you possibly could add. So all you need is, I made half a batch and it made 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, you need 4 tablespoons of butter, 3/4 cup sugar, 2 eggs, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla or almond extract, 2 1/4 cup flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, and a pinch of salt. That's all you need. Now, what I used was Mexican vanilla. What I do with it? Oh, I wanted to show you the bottle. my favorite vanilla. I use it in everything. And then I, from the nut eating, had these spicy chili pistachios, and I thought these two would taste good together with the chocolate, and they do taste really good. And this is about a quarter cup pistachios, and I just chopped them up. So, what I did was I creamed the 3/4 cup sugar, but it was half a batch, and 4 tablespoons butter. I mix everything by hand, but most of the people who make this use a mixer. It's up to you. Then I added the baking powder, 2 teaspoons, the pinch of salt, and I used my good sea salt. I bought that for $1. So I mixed the salt, the baking powder, and the vanilla in the 2 eggs to make sure it got evenly distributed. Then I sifted my flour, and I made a well in the middle of my flour so I could slowly incorporate the flour into my egg, and it made a nice stiff dough. And for half a batch, it made one. You shape your cookie into like a little, like a rectangle, but you take the corners off, so it's like a loaf of bread, but it's flattened about 3/4 of the way, 3/4 of an inch, and then you bake it for about 30 minutes at 375, I think, yeah. Okay, so it said you will see the top crack. Mine didn't, and so what happened is I burned the bottom of mine a little bit. So when the bottom is brown, it's time to take it out. So I just scraped that off with a knife. Then I cut it as soon as it was cool enough with a serrated knife. And I reduced the heat in the oven to 250. And then I slipped them back in there for about 15 to 20 minutes until they were good and dry, almost like a dry cracker. Then I had these from the cookie mixing, and this was the interesting thing. It actually took more chocolate than I thought. And what I did is I just melted a little, I just got a pan of water and I heated it, and I just put the chocolate in here and then stirred it around with the knife. Well, it ended up, just for this small batch, it ended up taking about a half a package of this. So this is 4.2, so it took about 2 ounces of chocolate. But it's very delicious to go with my tea because I'm being festive. And I hope you are all being festive too, because pretty soon it's all going to be over and we're going to have to wait a whole year. But I am not ending these celebrating until after my birthday, which is the middle of January. Especially since I got my tree up late. So, okay, you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all.